Dr. Amy Rodriguez stared at the screen in front of her. The numbers made no sense. She had been studying space rocks and dead planets for 15 years, but she had never seen readings like these. The computer showed massive objects floating in the Kepler 442 system, but something was wrong with them. "Ryan, can you come look at this?" she called across the lab. Ryan Parker was the best engineer on the ship. If anyone could figure out what was happening, it would be him. Ryan walked over and looked at Amy's screen. His face showed confusion as he read the data. "These gravity readings are impossible," he said. "These objects are way too heavy to be normal planets. And look at this energy signature. It's like nothing I've ever seen." Amy nodded. She had been thinking the same thing. The Kepler 442 system was supposed to be empty. The Galactic Council had marked it as dead space years ago. No life, no useful minerals, no reason for anyone to go there. But her instruments were telling a different story. "I think we need to tell the captain," Amy said. Captain Jake Morrison was in his office when Amy and Ryan knocked on his door. Jake was a good captain. He listened to his crew and made smart decisions. When Amy showed him the readings, his face became serious. "How sure are you about this data?" Jake asked. "Very sure," Amy replied. "I've checked it 3 times. There are at least 6 massive objects in that system. They're giving off energy, but they're trying to hide it. It's like they're sleeping, but still alive." Jake thought for a moment. The Kepler 442 system was only 2 days away from their current position. The New Horizon was a research ship built to explore and discover new things. This was exactly the kind of mystery they were meant to investigate. "Set course for Kepler 442, Jake told his crew. The ship had barely changed direction when Ambassador Zethkar appeared on the bridge. The tall, blue-skinned alien was the Galactic Council's representative on their ship. His 4 eyes were angry and his voice was sharp. "Captain Morrison, you must not go to that system," Zethkar said. "The Council has forbidden all travel to Kepler 442. It is dangerous." Jake looked at the alien calmly. "What kind of danger?" "My crew found energy readings that suggest something important is there." Zethkar's eyes moved quickly, a sign that he was nervous. "Ancient dangers, things that should not be disturbed. The Council knows what is best. Turn your ship around." But Jake was not easily scared. In his 20 years in space, he had learned that the Galactic Council often hid things from humans. They said it was for safety, but Jake suspected they just didn't want humans to discover anything important. "We're going to take a look," Jake said firmly. "We'll be careful." Zethkar's blue skin became darker, another sign of his anger. "This is a mistake, Captain. Some things are better left alone." 2 days later, the New Horizon dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler 442 system. What they saw made everyone on the bridge stop talking. 6 massive objects floated in space where planets should be. They were perfectly round and looked like normal planets from a distance. But Amy's instruments were going crazy with readings. "Captain," Ryan said from his station, "these aren't planets. The metal content is wrong. The density is wrong. Everything is wrong." Amy was running her own scans. "I'm detecting artificial structures inside these objects, miles and miles of them. And they're old, really, really old." Jake stared at the objects on the main screen. Each one was the size of a small planet, but they were clearly made by someone. "Take us closer to the nearest one," he ordered. As they got closer, more details became clear. The surface looked like rock and dirt, but underneath, their scanners found metal and technology. There were patterns in the structure that looked like cities and roads. "This is impossible," whispered Lisa Chun, the ship's language expert. "Who could build something this big?" Ryan was studying his engineering displays. "Captain, I'm detecting power sources inside these things. They're not dead. They're just sleeping." Amy felt excited and scared at the same time. This was the discovery of a lifetime. "We need to get inside one of them," she said. Jake knew this was dangerous, but he also knew they couldn't just leave. This was too important. "Ryan, can you find a way in?" Ryan studied his screens for several minutes. "There," he said, pointing. to a spot on the nearest object. There's a weak point in the outer shell. I think it's meant to be opened, but it's been sealed for a very long time. Jake made his decision. Take us in. Let's see what's inside. The New Horizon moved carefully toward the weak point. Ryan used the ship's cutting tools to open a hole in the outer shell. As soon as they broke through, lights began to turn on inside the massive object. It's responding to us, Amy said with wonder in her voice. Like it knows we're here. They flew the ship through the opening and into a vast space inside the object. What they found took their breath away. They were flying through the inside of something that was part spaceship and part city. Massive corridors stretched in all directions. Buildings and structures covered the inner walls. Everything was made of metal and crystal that glowed with soft light. This isn't just a ship, Ryan said quietly. It's like an entire world built inside a spaceship. Amy was taking readings as fast as she could. The technology here is more advanced than anything in the galaxy. This makes our best ships look like toys. As they flew deeper into the massive ship, more systems came online. Lights traced patterns along the walls. Computer displays showed symbols and words in languages Amy had never seen. Captain, Lisa said, her voice shaking with excitement, I think these symbols are related to ancient human languages, but that's impossible. Humans have only been in space for 300 years. Jake felt a chill run down his spine. You saying humans built this? Before Lisa could answer, a deep sound echoed through the ship around them. It was like a giant machine waking up after sleeping for thousands of years. Something's happening, Ryan reported. Power levels are rising. Throughout the structure, on the screens around them, more symbols appeared. Some of them looked almost familiar, like words Amy felt she should understand but couldn't quite remember. Captain, Amy said slowly, I don't think we just found an ancient alien ship. I think we found something much more important than that. Jake looked at the incredible technology surrounding them and felt that Amy was right. This discovery was going to change everything they thought they knew about humans and their place in the galaxy. Image. Description for Leonardo AI. A massive spherical object floating in space that looks like a planet from the outside, but with a section cut away to reveal the interior is actually a vast spaceship filled with glowing cities, metal corridors, and crystal structures. A small human research vessel flies through the opening into the hollow interior. The scene is set against a starry space background with distant planets visible. The interior should show advanced alien architecture with soft blue and white lights, illuminating the inner city-like structures built into the curved walls. The New Horizon moved slowly through the massive corridors inside the planet-sized ship. Captain Jake Morrison had never seen anything like it. The walls were covered with patterns that glowed softly in the darkness. Some areas looked like cities, with tall buildings reaching up toward the center. Other areas had machinery so complex that Ryan Parker couldn't even guess what it was for. Amy, are you getting readings on the atmosphere in here? Jake asked. Dr. Amy Rodriguez checked her instruments. It's breathable, Captain. Oxygen levels are perfect for humans. The temperature is comfortable, too. It's like this place was made for us. That thought made Jake feel uneasy. How could an ancient alien ship have the perfect environment for humans? Captain, called Ben Collins from the communications station. Ben was young, only 25, but he was good at his job. Getting signals from all over this ship. It's like the whole thing is trying to talk to us. Dr. Lisa Chun was studying the symbols they had seen earlier. She was the best language expert in the human fleet, but these symbols were giving her trouble. These markings look familiar, but I can't place them. They remind me of very old human writing, but that's impossible. Ryan was scanning the technology around them. Captain, I think we should land and explore on foot. There are docking areas designed for ships our size. Jake made the decision to land. They found a bay that seemed to be waiting for them. As soon as the New Horizon touched down, more lights came on throughout the area. It was like the ship was waking up. The team put on their spacesuits and left their ship. The moment Amy stepped onto the floor of the alien ship, something amazing happened. Panels in the walls began to glow brighter. Screens that had been dark suddenly showed symbols and pictures. "It's responding to us," Amy said with wonder. "The ship knows we're here." Lisa walked up to one of the glowing panels. As she got closer, the symbols on the screen changed. They became clearer, more organized. "It's trying to communicate with us," she said. Ryan noticed something strange about one of the control panels. "This interface looks almost human," he said. "The size is right for human hands. The height is perfect for someone my size." Ben was examining a different area when he accidentally touched a crystal that was glowing on a nearby wall. The moment his gloved hand made contact, the entire room filled with light. A voice spoke in a language none of them understood, but somehow it sounded familiar. Then the voice changed, speaking words that were almost like English, but older. "Welcome, children of the distant stars," the voice said. "We have waited so long for your return." The team looked at each other in shock. Jake felt his heart beating faster. "Who are you?" he called out. A hologram appeared in the center of the room. It showed a person who looked human, but different. Taller, with features that were similar to humans but more refined. The hologram was wearing clothes that looked advanced, but simple. "I am a memory of those who came before," the hologram said. "We are your ancestors, though you have forgotten us. You are the children of Earth, but Earth is not your beginning." Lisa stepped forward, her mind racing. "That's impossible. Humans evolved on Earth. We have proof." The hologram smiled sadly. "Earth was your sanctuary, young one. When the great enemy came, we sent our children to safety. We sent them to a world where they could grow and learn, far from the war that destroyed our home." Amy felt like the ground was moving under her feet. "You're saying humans didn't start on Earth?" "Your people began here, among the stars," the hologram replied. "We built these ships as our cities and our shields. When we knew we could not win, we sent the young ones away. We hoped that someday they would return and reclaim what was theirs." Ben was still touching the crystal, and more information was flowing into his mind. "I can see images," he said. "Ships like this one, but there are hundreds of them. No, thousands." The hologram nodded. "This fleet was our greatest achievement. Each ship is a world unto itself. Some carry the tools to build new civilizations. Others carry weapons to protect what is precious. All carry the knowledge of our people." Ryan was studying the technology around them with new eyes. "If this is true, then humans built technology. That's more advanced than anything in the galaxy today." "The galaxy has forgotten much in the time since we were driven away," the hologram said. "The other species learned to fear what they could not understand. They made sure that when our children returned to the stars, they would not remember their true heritage." Jake thought about Ambassador Zethkar and his urgent warnings to stay away from this system. "The Galactic Council knows about this, don't they?" The hologram's expression became serious. "The Council has always known. They have spent thousands of years making sure that the children of Earth would never find their way home. They fear what would happen if humans remembered who they truly are." At that moment, Jake's communication device buzzed. It was a message from the ship. Ambassador Zethkar was demanding to speak with him immediately. "I have to take this," Jake told his team. "Keep learning what you can." Back on the New Horizon, Zethkar was waiting in the communications room. His 4 eyes were angry, and his blue skin was dark with emotion. "Captain Morrison, you must leave this place immediately," Zethkar said. "You do not understand the danger you are in." Jake looked at the alien with new suspicion. "What danger?" "The ship seems to be helping us, not hurting us." "These ships are weapons, Captain. They were built by a species that tried to conquer the galaxy long ago. The Council has protected the galaxy from this threat for thousands of years." "That's not what we're learning down there," Jake replied. "We're learning that humans have a history we never knew about." Zethkar's eyes moved quickly, a sign of extreme agitation. "The humans on Earth are refugees, nothing more. They were saved from their own destructive nature and given a chance to start over. But if they reclaim these ships, they will become the same monsters their ancestors were." Jake felt anger building inside him. You've been lying to us. The whole council has been lying to us? We protected you? Zethkar shouted. We gave you a place in the galaxy without the burden of your dark past? But now you have awakened something that should have stayed sleeping forever. Down in the alien ship, Ben was still connected to the crystal. More information was flowing through him. He could see the truth about what had happened thousands of years ago. He saw great battles between the ships and an enemy that came from outside the galaxy. He saw humans fighting not to conquer, but to protect all life in the galaxy. Amy, Ben called out, his voice shaking. You need to see this. The humans who built these ships weren't trying to conquer anyone. They were trying to save everyone. Amy ran over to Ben and put her hand on the crystal next to his. Immediately, she could see the same images. She saw humans working with other species to build defenses against something terrible that was coming from the dark between galaxies. We weren't the villains, Amy whispered. We were the heroes. The hologram heard her words and nodded. Your ancestors gave everything to protect the galaxy. And when the great enemy was finally driven back, the other species were so afraid of human power that they rewrote history. They made sure that humans would never again be strong enough to threaten them, but also never strong enough to protect. Then when the enemy returns, Lisa added, understanding the terrible truth, the hologram's face became grim. The enemy will return, young ones. And when they do, only these ships and the knowledge they contain will be able to stop them. Your people were not hidden away because they were dangerous. They were hidden away because they are the galaxies. Only hope. Image description for Leonardo AI. Inside a vast alien spaceship chamber with glowing panels and crystalline interfaces, a human team in spacesuits stands before a tall, ethereal hologram of an ancient human ancestor. The hologram appears translucent and wise, wearing advanced but simple clothing. Around them are control panels with glowing symbols and screens showing star maps and fleet formations. One team member has their hand on a glowing crystal while receiving visions. The scene is lit by soft blue and white lights from the technology surrounding them, creating an atmosphere of ancient knowledge being revealed. Ryan Parker stood in front of the massive control panel, his hands shaking slightly as he studied the alien technology. No, not alien technology, he reminded himself. Human technology. Technology built by his own ancestors thousands of years ago. I think I can bring the main power systems online, Ryan told Captain Jake Morrison. The ship wants to wake up. It's like it's been waiting for us. Jake looked around the enormous control room. The hologram of their ancestor had faded away, but the knowledge it shared still filled his mind. Do it, Ryan. Let's see what this ship can really do. Ryan placed his hands on the crystal control surface. The moment his skin touched it, the entire ship began to hum with power. Lights raced along the walls like water flowing through veins. Screens that had been dark for thousands of years suddenly blazed with information. Dr. Amy Rodriguez watched, her instruments in amazement. The energy output is incredible. This single ship is producing more power than our entire home fleet combined. Throughout the massive vessel, systems came alive. Areas that had been dark were now filled with warm, golden light. The air itself seemed to become cleaner and fresher as ancient machines began working again. Ryan, called Dr. Lisa Chun from another control station, look at this. The ship is showing me a map of this entire system. Each of those objects we saw isn't just a ship, they're different types of ships. Ryan moved to look at Lisa's screen. The display showed 6 massive objects orbiting the system's star. Each one had different symbols and markings. This one we're on is marked as a city ship, Lisa continued, pointing to their location on the map. That one over there is marked as a factory ship, and that one is marked as a warship. Ben Collins was still connected to the crystal communication system. More information was flowing into his mind every second. There's something else, he said, his voice filled with wonder. This isn't the only fleet. There are more of these ships hidden all over the galaxy. Amy felt her heart racing. How many more? Ben closed his eyes as the information came to him. Hundreds of fleets, thousands of ships. They're disguised as asteroids, dead planets, even moons orbiting inhabited worlds. They've been hiding in plain sight for thousands of years. The ship's main computer system finally came fully online. A new voice spoke to them, different from the hologram they had met before. This voice was warmer, more alive. "Welcome home, children of the distant stars," the voice said. "I am the ship's mind. I have been waiting so long to teach you what your ancestors knew." Jake stepped forward. "What can you teach us?" "Everything," the ship's mind replied. "How to build matter from energy. How to travel between stars in the blink of an eye. How to heal any injury or sickness. How to live for centuries. Your ancestors were masters of the universe, and that knowledge is your birthright." Ryan watched as new information appeared on his screens. Technologies that made current galactic science look like stone tools. "This is incredible. With this knowledge, humans could build a civilization that would span the entire galaxy." Meanwhile, back on Earth, Agent Kate Sullivan was having a very bad day. Kate worked for Earth's intelligence service, keeping track of alien activities that might affect human interests. She had been monitoring communications from various alien governments when she noticed something strange. Several major alien empires were moving their fleets. The Vraxian Empire, the Centauri Federation, and the Rigel Consortium were all mobilizing their military forces, but they weren't moving toward each other. They were all moving toward the same area of space. Kate checked the coordinates and felt her blood run cold. They were all heading toward the Kepler 442 system, where the New Horizon was supposed to be doing routine research. She immediately sent a priority message to her superiors, but their response was even more troubling. They already knew about the alien fleet movements. They had been monitoring secret communications between alien governments for months. "Kate," her supervisor told her during an encrypted video call, "what I'm about to tell you is classified at the highest levels. The alien governments have been searching for something in space for centuries. Ancient artifacts of incredible power. They believe these artifacts have finally been found." Kate felt sick to her stomach. "Are you saying they're going after our research ship?" "It's worse than that," her supervisor replied. "According to our intelligence, whoever controls these artifacts could rule the entire galaxy, and every major alien power wants them." Back on the ancient ship, Amy was making discoveries that would change everything. The ship's computer was showing her the locations of other hidden vessels throughout the galaxy. "Ryan, you need to see this," Amy called out. "There's a ship hidden in the asteroid belt around Alpha Centauri. Another one is disguised as a moon, orbiting a planet in the Tau Ceti system. There are ships everywhere humans have colonies." Ryan looked at the data and realized the implications. They've been watching us. Our ancestors have been watching over us this whole time. The ships mind confirmed Amy's suspicions. The ships were programmed to activate when humans were ready to reclaim their heritage. Your spread across the galaxy was the signal we were waiting for. Ben was receiving even more information through his connection to the ship. The aliens know about the ships. Some of them have been searching for centuries, trying to find them and claim their power. Jake felt anger building inside him. The Galactic Council hadn't just hidden the truth from humans. They had been actively trying to keep humans weak while searching for these weapons themselves. How powerful are these ships? Jake asked. The ship's mind paused before answering. "A single city ship like this, one could defeat the entire current galactic fleet. A warship could destroy planets. A factory ship could build a new civilization in a matter of years." Lisa was studying the ancient human language on the displays. "Captain, I'm reading something about a countdown. When we activated this ship, it sent signals to all the other hidden ships in the galaxy. They're all waking up. How long do we have before they're fully operational?" Jake asked. "According to this, about 6 days," Lisa replied. "In 6 days, every hidden human ship in the galaxy will be awake and ready." Ryan was examining the ship's weapon systems. "Captain, we need to be prepared. If the aliens are coming, To take these ships, we need to know how to defend ourselves. The ship's mind seemed to read his thoughts. The knowledge you need is already within your reach. Place your hand on the learning crystal, and I will teach you everything your ancestors knew about these vessels. As Ryan touched the crystal, information flowed into his mind. He learned how to control engines that could move faster than light. He learned about weapons that could tear holes in space itself. He learned about shields that could protect entire planets, but most importantly, he learned that the ships were not just weapons of war. They were tools of creation, designed to build and protect life throughout the galaxy. "Captain," Amy said, studying readings from the other ships in the system, "the warship is powering up too. Whatever's coming, we'll be ready for it." Jake looked around at his crew and felt pride mixed with fear. They had uncovered the greatest secret in the galaxy. Humans were not the young, weak species everyone thought they were. They were the descendants of the galaxy's greatest civilization, but that knowledge came with a terrible responsibility. Soon, every major power in the galaxy would be coming for these ships, and humanity would have to decide whether to reclaim their heritage as galactic protectors or risk everything in a war that could destroy countless worlds. The ship's mind spoke. "One final warning. Be ready, children of the stars. Your enemies are coming, and they will not show mercy. But remember, you are not the same species that fled this galaxy long ago. You have grown stronger in your exile. It is time to show the galaxy what humans can truly become." Image description for Leonardo. AI. A massive control room inside an ancient spaceship with a human engineer placing his hands on glowing crystal control surfaces. Around him, holographic displays show a star map with dozens of planet-sized ships throughout the galaxy, each marked with different symbols. Golden light races through the walls and ceiling as the ship's systems come alive. Other human crew. Members watch in amazement as screens display advanced technologies and star charts. The scene is bathed in warm golden and blue light from the awakening technology. The news spread across the galaxy faster than anyone thought possible. Despite the Galactic Council's attempts to keep the discovery secret, word of the ancient human ships had reached every major civilization within days on the capital world of the Vraxian Empire. Emperor Thaxmer slammed his clawed fist on the council table. His red eyes burned with fury as he read the intelligence reports. "How is this possible?" he roared at his advisors. The humans were supposed to be weak. They were supposed to stay weak forever. General Korth, his military commander, shifted. Nervously, "My Emperor, our spies confirm it. The humans have found their ancestor ships. 6 massive vessels in the Kepler 442 system are now fully operational." "And you're certain these are the same ships our great-grandfathers feared?" the Emperor asked. "Without doubt, my Emperor. The energy signatures match the ancient records. These are the ships that nearly conquered our empire 3,000 years ago. Similar conversations were happening on worlds across the galaxy. The Centauri Federation called an emergency meeting of their High Council. The Rigel Consortium mobilized their entire battle fleet. Even the peaceful Andorian Republic began moving their ships toward human space. The Galactic Council itself was in chaos. Ambassador Zethkar stood before the emergency assembly, his blue skin pale with fear. Around him, representatives from dozens of species argued and shouted in their native languages. "Order! Order!" called High Chancellor Vexstar, an elderly being. "From the Sirius system? We must remain calm and discuss this situation logically." "Logical?" screamed Ambassador Moltar from the Rigel Consortium. "The humans have awakened the death ships. There is nothing logical about allowing them to keep such weapons." Ambassador Zethkar stepped forward. "Honored council members, I tried to prevent this discovery. I warned Captain Morrison not to enter that system, but humans are stubborn and refuse to follow guidance." "Your warnings were not strong enough," accused Senator Quindle from the vegan systems. "Now we face the same threat our ancestors barely survived." High Chancellor Vexstar called for silence. "What do we know about the current status of these ships?" Ambassador Zethkar consulted his datapad. Our sensors show that 6 ships in the Kepler 442 system are fully operational, but intelligence suggests there may be hundreds more hidden throughout the galaxy, perhaps thousands. A murmur of fear swept through the assembly. Many of the alien representatives had grown up hearing stories about the ancient human empire. Stories of ships that could destroy planets and technology that seemed like magic. "We have a choice," High Chancellor Vexstar announced. "We can accept that humans have reclaimed their heritage and try to negotiate with them, or we can act now to prevent them from becoming a threat to galactic peace." The vote was swift and decisive. By a margin of 3-1, the Galactic Council voted to authorize military action against the human ships. Meanwhile, in the Kepler 442 system, Captain Jake Morrison was receiving urgent messages from Earth. The human government was in panic. Reports were coming in of alien fleets moving toward human colonies throughout the galaxy. "Captain," called Ben Collins from the communications station, "I'm receiving a priority message from Commander Alex Turner. He's requesting permission to board one of the other ships in this system." Jake knew Alex Turner by reputation. He was one of the best ship commanders in the human fleet, known for his quick thinking and leadership in crisis situations. If anyone could figure out how to pilot one of the ancient ships, it would be Alex. "Tell Commander Turner he has permission to attempt boarding the warship." Jake replied. Dr. Amy Rodriguez was working with her brother, Dr. Sam Rodriguez, who had arrived on a fast courier ship the day before. Sam was a physicist who specialized in advanced technologies, and Amy had requested his help in understanding the ancient human systems. "Amy," Sam said, looking at his readings with amazement, "these ships are connected to each other in ways I've never seen before. They're using quantum entanglement to communicate instantly across any distance." Amy looked at her brother's data. "That means when we activated our ship, every hidden ship in the galaxy received the signal at the same moment." "Exactly," Sam confirmed. "And according to these readings, they're all responding. Ships that have been dormant for thousands of years are waking up all over the galaxy." Ryan Parker was in the engineering section, learning more about the ship's capabilities from the ancient computer systems. What he discovered was both amazing and terrifying. "Captain," Ryan called over the communication system, "you need to know what this ship can do. It can create its own hyperspace tunnels, allowing instant travel to anywhere in the galaxy. It can manipulate matter at the atomic level, literally creating anything we need from base elements. And its weapons—" Ryan paused. "Its weapons could crack a moon in half." Commander Alex Turner had successfully boarded the warship with a small crew of volunteers. The moment he stepped onto the ship, it responded to his presence just as the city ship had responded to Amy's team. "This is incredible," Alex reported back to Jake. "The ship is teaching me how to control it. It's like the knowledge is being downloaded directly into my brain." Within hours, Alex was piloting the massive warship as if he had been born to it. The vessel moved through space with grace that seemed impossible for something so large. Its weapon systems came online, showing power readings that dwarfed anything in the current galactic fleets. Dr. Lisa Shan was monitoring communications from across the galaxy. What she heard made her blood run cold. "Captain, I'm intercepting military communications from multiple alien governments. They're coordinating attacks on human colonies. How long do we have?" Jake asked. "The nearest attack fleets will reach human space in less than 2 days." Lisa replied. Agent Kate Sullivan, now working directly with the Human Military Command, was coordinating intelligence from across the galaxy. The situation was worse than anyone had imagined. "Sir," she reported to Admiral Thompson at Earth Command, "we're tracking at least 12 major alien fleets moving toward our systems. The Vraxian Empire alone has committed 300 ships to this attack." Admiral Thompson was a veteran of many conflicts, but he had never faced anything like this. "How many of our own ships can we mobilize?" 80 ships, sir. Maybe 90 if we pull everything back from the outer colonies." The numbers were hopeless. Even with their most advanced ships, humanity was outnumbered 10-1, but then came A message that changed everything. Dr. Sam Rodriguez had been monitoring the quantum signals between the ancient ships, and he had discovered something amazing. "Admiral," Sam reported in an emergency communication, "the hidden ships throughout the galaxy are coming to life. Ships disguised as asteroids near human colonies are revealing themselves. Ships hidden in gas giant atmospheres are powering up. We're not alone in this fight." One by one, reports came in from human colonies across the galaxy. On New Terra, a mining station reported that what they thought was a large asteroid had suddenly revealed itself to be a massive human ship. On Kepler Prime, colonists watched in amazement as their moon split open to reveal another ancient vessel. Captain Jake Morrison received a message from the ancient ship's computer system. "Captain, 47 hidden ships have now activated throughout human space. Each one is crewed by volunteers from nearby human colonies who have boarded and bonded with the vessels." "Are they ready for combat?" Jake asked. "They are learning." Quickly, the ship's mind replied. "Your species has grown strong during its exile. The ships recognize this strength and are sharing their knowledge freely." Commander Alex Turner sent his own report. "Captain, I've been in contact with other ship commanders throughout the galaxy. We're coordinating our response to the alien attacks. These ships are more powerful than anything the aliens have ever built." Jake looked out at the stars and knew that everything was about to change. For thousands of years, humans had been the young species in the galaxy, struggling to find their place among older, more established civilizations. Now they were about to reclaim their birthright as the galaxy's most advanced species, but with that power came terrible responsibility. The aliens were coming not just to steal the ships, but to destroy humanity before it could become too powerful. The next few days would determine whether humans would take their place as protectors of the galaxy, or whether both sides would destroy each other in a war that could devastate countless worlds. "All ships," Jake broadcast to the hidden fleet across the galaxy, "prepare for battle. It's time to show the galaxy what humans can do." Image description for Leonardo AI: a large circular chamber filled with alien representatives from various species, all arguing and gesturing frantically. Around a central holographic display showing human starships. The aliens have different skin colors: blue, red, green, and various features like extra eyes, claws, and unusual body shapes. Above them, a massive hologram shows the locations of awakening human ships throughout the galaxy. The scene is lit by dramatic spotlights and emergency lighting, creating an atmosphere of crisis and panic among the Galactic Council. The first alien attack fleets arrived at human colonies exactly when Dr. Lisa Chun had predicted. But they found something they never expected. Where once there had been small, defenseless human settlements, now massive ships waited in defensive positions. Commander Alex Turner was piloting his warship near the colony of New Berlin when the Vraxian fleet dropped out of hyperspace. 60 alien warships appeared, their weapons already charging for attack. "This is Commander Turner to all human vessels," Alex broadcast. "Remember, we're not here to conquer. We're here to protect." The Vraxian fleet commander sent a message demanding immediate surrender. "Human vessels, you are outgunned and outmatched. Surrender the ancient ships, and your colonies will be spared." Alex's response was simple: no. The battle that followed lasted only minutes. The ancient human ships moved through the alien fleet like sharks through a school of fish. Their weapons cut through enemy shields as if they didn't exist. Their armor absorbed hits that should have destroyed them, but Alex and his crew took no pleasure in their victory. These were not monsters they were fighting. These were living beings with families and hopes, just like humans. The ancient ships had been built to protect life, not destroy it. Similar battles were happening across the galaxy. At every human colony, the awakened ships defended their people with overwhelming force. The alien fleets, despite their superior numbers, found themselves completely outmatched. On the capital world of the Galactic Council, panic was spreading. Reports were coming in of total defeat from every attack fleet. The ancient human ships were not just more powerful than expected. They were beyond anything the current galaxy could comprehend. Ambassador Zethkar stood before the emergency council session, his blue skin now gray with fear. Honored members, we have gravely underestimated the situation. Our fleets are being destroyed. The humans are not using these ships to attack our worlds, but their defensive capabilities are ... double quotes. He paused, struggling to find words. They are beyond measurement. High Chancellor Vexstar was about to respond when something strange happened. The lights in the council chamber dimmed, and a new voice spoke from the darkness. At last the children have come home. The voice was cold and ancient, speaking in a language that was older than any current civilization. But somehow, every being in the chamber understood it perfectly. Who speaks? Demanded High Chancellor Vexstar. A figure materialized in the center of the chamber. It was tall and thin, with features that seemed to shift and change as they watched. Its eyes were completely black, like holes in space itself. "We are the Watchers," the figure said. "We have guided this galaxy for 3,000 years, ensuring that no species became powerful enough to threaten the order we created." Ambassador Zethkar felt recognition dawn in his mind. You're the ones who gave us the technology to defeat the ancient humans." The Watcher smiled, and the expression was terrifying. "We gave you just enough power to drive them away. We needed the galaxy to remain divided and weak. We needed you all to fight among yourselves while we prepared for their return." "Prepared for what?" asked High Chancellor Vexstar. "For the harvest," the Watcher replied. Meanwhile, in the Kepler 442 system, Captain Jake Morrison was receiving reports from the battles across the galaxy. The human ships had won every engagement, but something was troubling him. "Captain," called Dr. Amy Rodriguez from her station, "I'm detecting massive energy signatures at the edge of the galaxy. Something big is coming through dark space." Dr. Sam Rodriguez was monitoring the quantum connections between the ancient ships. "Amy, the ships are all responding to something. They're afraid." The ancient ship's computer system activated. Without being asked, "Captain Morrison, the awakening of our fleet has served as a beacon. The great enemy knows we have returned." "What great enemy?" Jake asked. "The Harvesters," the ship's mind replied. "They come from the void between galaxies, consuming entire civilizations. They were the reason our ancestors built these ships, not as weapons of conquest, but as tools of protection." Ben Collins was still connected to the communication systems when new information flooded his mind. "Captain, I'm seeing images of the last war. The Harvesters destroyed dozens of species before our ancestors finally drove them back, but they promised to return." "How long do we have?" Jake asked. "According to the ancient records, they will arrive within days," the ship's mind answered. "And this time they are bringing a much larger force." Back on the Galactic Council world, the Watcher was explaining the terrible truth to the assembled representatives. "For 3,000 years, we have prepared this galaxy for harvest. We divided you into competing empires. We prevented any single species from becoming too powerful. We made sure that when the Harvesters returned, you would be easy prey." "You betrayed us all," whispered Ambassador Zethkar. "We survived," the Watcher replied coldly. "That is all that matters. The Harvesters promised to spare us if we delivered a weak, divided galaxy. We kept our part of the bargain." "But the humans have returned," pointed out High Chancellor Vexstar. The Watcher's expression became angry. "Yes, the humans have awakened their war machines. But it is too late. The Harvester fleet is already entering this galaxy. Even the ancient human ships cannot stop what is coming." In space around dozens of human colonies, the awakened ships began receiving new data. Commander Alex Turner was the first to understand what he was seeing. "All ships, this is Turner," he broadcast. "Long-range sensors are detecting a massive fleet entering the galaxy from dark space. Ship count is ... He paused, checking his readings again. "Ship count is over 10,000 vessels." Dr. Amy Rodriguez felt her heart sink. "Even with all our ships, we're still outnumbered." But Ryan Parker was studying the ancient ship's databases. "Wait," he said. I'm reading something here about other defenses. The ships weren't the only thing our ancestors built. The ship's mind confirmed his discovery. Young engineer, your ancestors prepared for this day in many ways. The ships were just the beginning. Hidden throughout the galaxy are weapons platforms, shield generators, and other defenses. But they can only be activated by someone with the proper genetic markers. Human genetic markers, Amy realized. The harvesters altered their own servants, the ship's mind explained. The Watchers are no longer truly the species they once were. Only unchanged humans can access the full defensive network. Captain Jake Morrison made a decision that would change the course of galactic history. Open a communication channel to all ships, human and alien. Captain? Questioned Ben Collins. If we're going to survive this, we all need to work together. Jake explained. His message went out across the galaxy, reaching every ship and every world. This is Captain Morrison of the human fleet. We have discovered that an enemy from outside our galaxy is coming to destroy all life here. We're not your enemy. We never were. Our ancestors built these ships to protect everyone, not to conquer anyone. The real enemy is almost here, and we need to work together if any of us are going to survive. The response was immediate. From the Vraxian Empire, from the Centauri Federation, from dozens of other species, came messages of alliance. The alien fleets that had been attacking human colonies turned around and headed for defensive positions. Ambassador Zethkar, still on the Council world, sent his own message. Captain Morrison, this is Ambassador Zethkar. On behalf of the Galactic Council, I formally apologize for our actions. We were deceived by the Watchers. How can we help? Send everything you have to the Outer Rim, Jake replied. We're going to make a stand at the edge of the galaxy. As the combined fleets of dozens of species moved into position, the ancient human ships began activating defensive systems that had been hidden for thousands of years. Massive weapons platforms emerged from asteroids. Shield generators that had been disguised as space stations came online. Dr. Sam Rodriguez was monitoring the defensive network as it awakened. Captain, the full scope of what our ancestors built is incredible. They turned the entire outer rim of the galaxy into a fortress. But even as the defenses came online, long-range sensors showed the approaching enemy. The Harvester fleet was massive beyond imagination, stretching across light-years of space. Each ship was the size of a small moon, and there were thousands of them. Young Ben Collins, still connected to the ancient communication network, received one final message from the approaching fleet. The voice that spoke was cold and hungry, like the sound of death itself. Children of the Builders, you have awakened your sleeping guardians, but you are too late. We have grown strong in the dark between galaxies. Your ancestors merely delayed us. Now we will complete what we began 3,000 years ago. This galaxy will feed our hunger, and every living thing within it will serve our purpose. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his ancient ship, looking out at the greatest fleet the galaxy had ever assembled. Human ships flew alongside Vraxian cruisers. Centauri fighters formed up with Rigel destroyers. Species that had been enemies for centuries now stood united against a threat that could destroy them all. All ships, Jake broadcast. This is it. This is why our ancestors built these ships. This is why they saved us. Not to rule the galaxy, but to protect it.